So the music collector website Discogs asked its social media fans to share one album they would rate 10 out of 10 with no skips. They got 40,000 responses, a little more than 40,000 actually. And the most liked albums were compiled into a list of the best albums of all time. So this is 40,000 likes worth of people that have their records, their record collection, their music collection cataloged at Discogs.com. To keep any one particular artist's fan bases from like taking over the list, we're looking at you, Taylor Swift. Multiple popular releases were limited to just one. You only got one. So I thought this would be an interesting thing to share. The top 25 albums as chosen by the Discogs community. So what came in at number 25 was Harvest from Neil Young. If that had been up to me, it would have been Harvest Moon. I like that album just better on the whole. Old Man, Heart of Gold, The Incredibly Bleak, The Needle and the Damage Done. Yeah, it's a good album. This is the original cover of Appetite for Destruction. They later included that inside the artwork of the album and the CD. Yeah, this honestly is a great record. I'm personally, I never listen to this anymore because I've heard Welcome to the Jungle a million times and Sweet Child of Mine a million times and Paradise City a million times. Mr. Brownstone. I mean, there are plenty of good songs on this album. It's a no-skips album, okay. If you're in the mood to hear Sweet Child of Mine and Welcome to the Jungle again. Radio kind of ruined those for me. Trans-Europe Express from Kraftwerk, 1977. A lot of people consider that one of the best electronic albums ever. Number 22 is A Love Supreme from John Coltrane. If you think you have a jazz collection and this isn't in it, you don't have a jazz collection. A post-bop classic. Number 21, Paranoid, Black Sabbath. A friend of mine named Tom in high school played the first Black Sabbath song I'd ever heard, Electric Funeral. Thought it was kind of scary. But I eventually listened to more Black Sabbath, and I was like, yeah, okay. This is genius stuff, and you'd be hard-pressed to find is influenced by heavy metal that won't point to this album as being a significant album. To Pimp a Butterfly from Kendrick Lamar. I never really got this album, but it's on everybody's damn list. So, Kendrick Lamar, your legacy is secure, my friend. The Strokes, Is This It? This, right around the turn of the century, this ushered in a garage rock revival, which was a lot of fun. It was a nice countermeasure to all of the pop punk of the day. So it looks like Purple Rain got the slot for Prince Records at number 18. To me, this is the summer of 1984 right here. I might have been more inclined to put Sign of the Times as what I think is the better Prince album. Jeff Buckley, Every Time I Hear Last Goodbye, that song gets better every time I hear it, 30 years later. Great record. A life tragically too short. The first psychedelic Beatles record, Revolver, is arguably their best album. Blood Sugar Sex Magic from Red Hot Chili Peppers. The original, every copy of the original pressing of this CD, the beginning of Under the Bridge, the note was cut off. It was like, that's what I think of every time I think of this damn album. Number 14, Talking Book from Stevie Wonder. Part of that golden period for Stevie Wonder. Superstition is on this album. I believe When I Fall in Love, It Will Be Forever. I think that's the name of that song. Amazing Stevie Wonder deep cut. Definitely belongs in the top 25 list. Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. The only thing wrong with this album is that if you're filing Linkin Park alphabetically in your music collection, it's going to be too close to Limp Bizkit. And that kind of ruins. I don't want to, but great record. They probably never equaled it, but hell of a debut. Speaking of hell of a debut, 10 from Pearl Jam. Man, I saw them in concert in West Lafayette, Indiana. It looked to me like Eddie Vedder hadn't slept in days, but they sounded great. This album belongs to the list. Personally, really tired of it. Depeche Mode, Violator. Peak Depeche Mode. This much is for sure. I would probably... What was the album before that? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Stupid Statins. Can't remember anything. Strangelove? In Rainbows from Radiohead is number 10. Really? This is the album that they dropped in 2006 or 2007, and they put it up on a website. They self-released it, and they said, Pay whatever it is that you think it's worth. So apparently a lot more people in the Discog community think it's worth more than I think it's worth. I would have put OK Computer or Kid A instead of In Rainbows. It's cool that that's what they did. Disintegration from The Cure. No argument from me. Why isn't it higher than number 9? Definitely the best Cure album. Great album. One of my favorite albums ever. Massive Attack from Mezzanine. Okay, yeah. I'm feeling that. Yeah, it would be in my top 25 or top 50. Paul's Boutique from the Beastie Boys. That's peak Beastie Boys. I'm not a huge Beastie Boys fan, but a lot of people have a lot of regard for that album. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It's one of the greatest R&B albums ever. I don't think anybody would argue with that. We're up to 5, 4, 3, and 2. Enter the Wu-Tang. So before this dropped, hip-hop was mostly either kind of jazzy, kind of gangsta, like West Coast gangsta, or really socio-political. Like, it was kind of banging, but like Public Enemy and Ice-T. And then this really made New York rap feel a little bit more real, if you know what I mean. Nevermind from Nirvana. That's a No Skips album, and that's a wait for the hidden track to play album. Don't skip the hidden track accidentally. Illmatic, that was like a year or so after Enter the Wu-Tang, and that probably took what you'd call hardcore East Coast rap to the next level. I don't think it'd be number 3 on my list. I'm not a huge rap guy. Tribe Called Quest. This is their perfect album. It's number 2. Okay, Discog community. I'm not going to argue with you. Everybody's got their own thing. And number 1, well, who would have guessed it, right? Other than everyone over the age of 40. You cannot skip any tracks on this album. Why would you want to? It's a listening experience. It's also not my favorite Pink Floyd album, but it is one of the greatest albums of all time. So there you go. From over 40,000 social media responses, thank you, Discogs community. If you're interested in how I felt about the recent Rolling Stone Top 50 Worst Album Covers of All Time list, click on this video right up here. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.